All right. Big rumor out there. We'll see whether or not we believe it. Errol Spence Jr.'s next opponent to be named soon. And it could be Jaron Boots Ennis. This coming as Jaron Ennis puts out an announcement and says he's got big news coming. Let's analyze that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Fernand. You can call me Martin. I don't mind that either. Like it very much. Actually, it's a name my mama gave me. We are going to be in the 147-pound division, where Jaron Ennis put out a Instagram post and said, big news coming, did a little devil sign, which, you know, people are going to take as meaning that there's a fight coming up, a fight going to get announced. Now, if you didn't know, Jaron Ennis is the IBF world champion. He was ordered to fight a guy by the name of Cody Crowley, good fighter. I think Cody Crowley's Canadian. Very good fighter. They were supposed to go to purse bid. The purse bid gets canceled. Then some other hang up happens about the fight, right? But people are waiting and thinking that was going to be the next fight. So we know that he's going to be fighting soon. So no reason to doubt that he's talking about a fight. Now, I've heard through the grapevine talk that this could be Errol Spence Jr. versus Jaron Ennis could be this announcement. It could even be a fight between Jaron Ennis or Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo could be next for Errol Spence Jr. How can I say that? I appreciate you guys asking me the question. I appreciate it being out there. However, I would not hold my breath for something like that to happen. Unfortunately, man, you know, there's a lot of fights that could take place in boxing that probably will not take place in boxing for a variety of reasons. And the Errol Spence Jr. fight versus Jaron Ennis, number one, that is definitely something that's probably not going to happen, even though I would love to see that fight happen. Also, and because of right now, we don't have the same holdup that we used to have for that fight. Seeing as reports are that that Derrick James and Errol Spence Jr. no longer work together. So you don't have to worry about being in the same stable, but still, that particular fight after Jermell Charlo has got his belt, all of his belts taken from him, and we really don't know when he's coming back. That's not likely to be the next fight that's announced. Even though it's got a very good sell line, and I'm telling you, man, I would love to see it. But the Jaron Ennis versus Errol Spence Jr. fight, nah, because the guy left the weight class. Errol Spence Jr. is at 154 pounds now, and Jaron Ennis is at 147 pounds. So the idea that Errol Spence Jr. is going to go back down to fight for a belt that Jaron Ennis had, that he used to have, that Jaron Ennis now holds at 147, it's not likely. It's not likely at all. Most likely scenario is that Jaron Ennis is going to announce a fight with Cody Crowley, or he could announce a fight with somebody unexpected. They could be going down to 147 for the fight for that title, like a Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, if you didn't recall, had a bicep injury that delayed or prevented him from having his fight with Tim Tszyu. And obviously, you know, Tim Tszyu was worse off for that one because he winds up losing to Sebastian Fundora after a pretty freak accident takes place, or a freak elbow gashes his head and makes him bleed at the same time that he broke Sebastian Fedora's nose and made him bleed. But unfortunately, for Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman wasn't in there. He probably would have won that fight. And that type of thing probably would not have happened. Now, but Keith Thurman could be available for that fight. And I would love to see that fight with Jaron Ennis and Keith Thurman. I don't know really if Keith Thurman would take it, but especially coming off of well over a 2-year layoff now. Not way over. Way over a 2-year layoff now. But Errol Spence Jr., probably not. And you got to add to that also that Bozy Ennis just recently said, and this Bozy Ennis is the father, manager, and trainer of Jaron Ennis, said that particular said that he would like to train or would be very open to training Errol Spence Jr. And he said, look, man, he thought that something was wrong with Errol Spence Jr. in that fight with Terrence Crawford. And he said, look, man, people can say, yeah, he got caught against your Danny Zugas, but he looked spectacular against your Danny Zugas. So that having that kind of conversation, Bozy is having that kind of conversation, the likelihood that he's now is going to go and fight Errol Spence Jr., I don't believe that is very likely. I think that is a wish, I think that is a wish and a prayer type of thing. But whatever the case is, I'm hoping that Jaron Ennis can get maybe on that May 4th card with Canelo Alvarez. Maybe that's the reason why he's saying big news, is because he would have the opportunity to fight somebody on that May. Actually, that card is coming around really quick because it's in, that card is 4 weeks away. So probably not, because he's not in training camp. There had been some rumors that Jaron Ennis could be on the undercard for that one. But if not, he could be on the next pay-per-view, or maybe he could be on, maybe could be on the same card as Gervonta Davis and David Benavidez, because that is also, man, that would be a huge card for him in June. If you had Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, David Benavidez versus whoever he's gonna fight. I don't know who he's gonna fight, and then have Jaron Ennis on that card as well. I think that's a really big deal for Jaron Ennis. So that could be the scenario, but again, the likelihood of us getting a fight with Errol and Jaron Ennis, I don't like it. Also, a lot of people are trying to push Jaron Ennis up to 154 pounds. There's a lot of good fights up there at 154 pounds where you have what's this guy? The Mortazaliev. I think that may be his name, Mortazaliev. But my understanding is that there's a chance that Terrence Crawford may be fighting him. But he would not be right immediately in the running for a championship up there, and he very well could get just as avoided at 154 as he is in the weight class he's in. And also, that would kind of be not a good look for him, because if he goes up to 154 too fast, especially before he actually defends his IBF title and gets a couple defenses of his championship at 147, you really wouldn't even be able to call a guy a champion at all. Or at least that's what a lot of people would say. Hey, man, you were never a champion. You never got in the ring as a champion before. You had the belt, then you dropped the belt before you even used it. Anyway, a lot of speculation around what's going on and what's going to happen with Jaron Ennis, and rightfully so, because he's such a spectacular fighter. But that's my take on it. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.